fight the military. And you think mediation will solve that? Listen, because we don't have to, I didn't want to go through all of it. Let me tell you, like I said,
there's no situation that talking can solve.
My brother, there are some, that's why I started with negotiation skills. You know what a partner is?
Yes.
Okay? Until you get to the point where you don't believe you can get what you want by force, you will never negotiate. So what you do, in strategy, we say when you have a complex situation, you simplify. Right now, mediation, they are complex. Simplify. Take the land, hold it, and impose peace. Okay. Then you have a situation where now people realize that, look, we can't do anything. They will have to fight the military. And if they are prepared to fight the military, there's nothing you can do about that. And look, let's pray this thing doesn't degenerate. But I tell you, there are people in Abobroshi who respond to what is going on in Bawku. We all pray it doesn't degenerate. There are people in Burkina who would be happy to recruit these people as rebels. There are people in northern Nigeria who are looking to infiltrate Ghana. And I'm speaking from certain other meetings that I've been in. So somehow God is holding us together. We need to hold and squash this Bawku thing quickly before it degenerates to something else that we can't handle.
Okay.
My basic point is Bawku is not a mediation issue. It is not a policing issue. It is a military issue. And I think the Ghana army is capable of doing it. If they are not capable of doing it, then we need to rethink our army.
Susan, he says, you know, negotiation has failed, really. And he talks about what we call partner in negotiations, which is the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Actually, is what works for you, the most favorable part that you want, and you get it through a negotiation. You put that first in your negotiation. All of them, both sides, want to have a Bawku Naba. This is the bottom line. And the issue is that we cannot have two chiefs. When two rams drink from the same bucket, they will lock horns.
Okay, so good morning once again. I beg to disagree with him. Peace is not a sudden event. It's not a destination. It's a journey. And it takes time, it takes effort, it takes commitment. And it obviously, both sides have to feel that there is something to gain by peace. I believe that both the Mampusis and the Kusasis at a point in time will see that there is something to gain by peace, because Bawku has not grown. My boss used to work at the Presby Hospital,
right.
and the Presby Hospital now is a pale shadow of itself. There are no banks there, as you said. Education is affected. The young people there, they have no jobs, etc., etc. I mean, my understanding was that peace by force was trying to happen, because what there's a market at the center, as the regional minister said.
So the Kusasis have created their own market.
Yes, because it was understood that market was, the Mampusis were more in that market, and the Mampusis have not been given land by the Kusasis to farm. So when the Mampusis feel starved or whatever, because the Kusasis are using starvation as a weapon, you understand? They go and they rustle the market, and they beat the Kusasi women up and take their things, you know. So that market was not working well for the Kusasis. And that's why they built the market on the Kusasi side. Apparently, the police said that they were going to force integration. And so they bussed Mampusi women to the market to enforce integration. And it is what in that scuffle that over-enthusiastic police man shot one of them, apparently the leader of the youth. And that has sparked this present thing. So you cannot enforce peace. You cannot push the peace. I understand that one of the rumors that was going round was that the member of parliament whose house was burnt, Honorable Ayaga, had been partial to the idea of the integration of the market. And so that's, in that anger is why his house was burnt, you know, because obviously he being both a Kusasi
This is partial or passive to the idea of the new market? Was he partial or passive?
The rumor was that he was partial to the integration of the market. Okay. Because he happens to be both, I understand his mother is a Mampusi and his
yeah, they have intermarried. A lot of intermarriage.
I mean, there's a lot of that. So, in that partiality, you know, and of course, during in situations like this, and there's
in
anger,
that alleged partiality,
in that anger and everything, obviously, you will find there are always rogue elements in such situations who sway people and say, you see, let's go burn his house, and people will follow. So we cannot enforce the peace, but you know, and peace is not the absence of conflict. It's a state of harmony, of justice, and of calmness. And so getting the military to go there and enforce it does not necessarily mean that there is peace. We need to go to the roots of the matter.
The minister says this is war. They themselves actually use the term war.
No, but it is a war. I mean, why else were the Kusasi
How do you resolve the war?
Starvation?
How do you end the war?
No, but because you need both to look that they are susceptible to the deprivation and that they will both benefit if Bawku develop. You understand? Of course, I mean, the Asantehene, he's going there because he knows the roots and he knows, you know, the way royals talk, you know, they have a certain understanding of how certain words have weight and have, you understand?
Enormous respect for him.
There's enormous respect for him. And I'm sure there are other people too that people have enormous respect for both the Kusasis and who can join him in this meeting. I don't think that we should expect that they wave a magic wand, he waves a magic wand, and he has to work for that peace. He has to make sure that getting to the roots of it. And so it's not going to happen in one day. We would want the young people to tone down. Why not? Because they are the ones who will also be the victims if they don't tone down. I mean, I know that we look at the statement of the IGP and we are like, he shouldn't say this. You know, and I can understand where he's coming from in some ways, even though I disagree with the statement.
He has explained, just a second, he has explained that what he means is that recruitments have been centered in Accra and Kumasi. But this time round, they are going to, as it were, localize it to places like Bawku. And the residents of Bawku, the youth, will be giving priority, not that whether you are qualified or not, you'll be taken. You'll be screened.
No, but you see, but this is not the statement to make at that time. Because the issue is that the perception was that during the MPP time, a lot of Mampusis were recruited into the security services. So when you make that statement, it is as if you're trying to balance it, that now you're going to have Kusasis being recruited into the security agencies. So, I can take his explanation that he's given, but there are certain things that are prudent to say at a certain time and are not prudent to say at a certain time. No matter how well-being, how well-meaning you intend to be, you
What shouldn't we give for peace in Bawku if it means giving the youth priority for police recruitment?
Is that the best? We should give a lot. And we have given a lot. I mean, I think it's expensive to even have the police there, to send the military there. It's expensive to have a section of your people in a nation not growing. It is expensive for us. You understand? Why should we have a place that has so much potential and yet is not growing? That is expensive for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to look at the pros and cons of what is more expensive
and
what is more long-term.
Thank you, Susan. And